So the Pathfinder is a very important archetype to reclaim in ourselves so that we can be not taking sides, but bridge builders, arc makers, bows of the Moon Maiden Goddess that shoots our arrows of intentions. Yes, I can. Yes, I am free in my responsibility to be the future. And if we are parents, and I'm talking in the broadest sense possible of the young beings that are holding this archetype alive in this moment, then we must set them free. Not to be how we think they need to be. You know, when I was a Pathfinder age in the Netherlands, I was very fortunate. I was in a Montessori high school, which doesn't exist in this country. They only have kindergartens in the Montessori philosophy here. Anyway, there were some kind of quite nerdish boys in my class who were really into this thing, computers. Now, this didn't exist. They didn't exist. We had a class in computer programming. We were the first year that this came into, and there were a pile of cards on which you had to mark little pencil marks to ask yes/no question, and like, I'm not kidding, like so many cards to ask one question that was sent away somewhere to a center where there was a computer, and then the next week, the next lesson, we got the answer back. It was a yes/no question, so it wasn't that interesting, you know. But there were kids who were really interested in this, and they were told, well, it's a nice hobby, but you'll never make a living in that. Okay? That's the distortion. That's the not giving the Pathfinder the freedom. So, if we allow the Pathfinder, the explorer, to be this bridge maker into new forms, if we stop making our boys into soldiers before they are allowed to be lovers, if we start dismembering the educational systems that enforces sameness, that conditions this fear-based society where you have to be this or that and you have to know it and it can never change, and if you fail on this particular day in this particular form, your life is over. Yeah? Where you have to be what your parents have been. Yeah, where the patriarchy will tell you women are this and men are that. If you actually look at this age group, because they are the way showers, Pathfinder, for all of us. They're not difficult, they have a bad rap. They're difficult if they haven't had the initiation before. Their childhood, their maiden, their youth initiations. If they haven't had those, their no has never been heard, and they've never had the firm, loving, fierce boundary of a no that meant a no. So they have grown up in this confusion. And they're asking, it's very, Steve Biddle, excellent book to read about child psychology and how to raise healthy children, particularly boys. And if you are a mother of a son, this is an important book to read. Steve Biddle, How to Raise Boys. He talks about, this whole idea that kids get really difficult and, oh, dreadful, isn't it? The teenage years, all this. First they tell you it's the terrible twos. I had a great time with my kids when they were 2-year-olds. It's delightful. They're all into questioning and exploring, and that is the foreshadowing of the Pathfinder. Yeah? Anything that was distorted or not sorted at 2 years old will come back. And so he says, you have to think about a 12-year-old, you have to take 10 years away. And a 13-year-old, take 10 years away. And that's what you're dealing with if anything is difficult. That was a really useful thing for me to get when I was a parent of kids of that age group. You can be compassionate about things then, instead of thinking they're giving you a hard time because they hate you. So, if we can be compassionate towards our own pathfinders that maybe never got to explore, and not to make that the conditioning we give out into the world. If we can be pathfinders at whatever age we are, healthy, initiated, through her mysteries that are within our body, within the land, within the cycles of the seasons, then we will create the new dimple in reality, and we will attract the energy, the juiciness of life towards us. Her blessings will change the world. But it starts with us, and it is a revolution of love. Revolution has the word love in it. Rebellion does not. I'd like to finish with this quote. I'm going to paraphrase slightly by one of my favorite authors, Khalil Gibran. This is the prophet. Yeah. Speak to us of children, speak to us of pathfinders. And he says, your pathfinders are not your pathfinders. They're not your children. They are the sons and daughters of a life's longing for itself. They come through you, but not from you. And though they are with you, yet they belong not to you. You may give them your love, but not your thoughts. For they have their own thoughts. And you know what? You listen to them and you can learn a lot. You may house their bodies, but not their souls. For their souls dwell in the house of tomorrow, which you cannot visit, not even in your dreams. You are the bow from which your children, as living arrows, are sent forth. And Goddess, she sees the greater plan. She sees the path of these arrows, and they are her moonbeams smile into the future. And she loves the bow as much as she loves the arrow. If we can let go of our pathfinders within us, our pathfinders within our society, having to be the way we have had to be, we will change the world. So I'd like to finish with you actually breathing this great arc of the Moon Goddess, breath in the body, to become the bridge within your own body, so that we may be bridge makers in the world as pathfinders, new way makers, explorers. Breathing into your heart. Breathe in her moonlight. And as you breathe out, breathe all the way down to your sex, to your sacral, to your womb space, to your hara. Breathe up into the heart. Breathe down into the center of creativity in your body, from which all potential, the great exploration of tomorrow, ripens. Breathe up into your heart and let the breath be your arrow of intention. Yes, you can. Blessed be.